My name is Juanita Senkis, and I'm the president of CHIP, and I would like to welcome all of you tonight to Candidates Night. We've been doing Candidates Night for over 20 years. It's hard to believe that we keep coming back to do this. I wish all good luck to all the candidates, the best to you. Don't forget, election is May 6th, and they already started early voting, so you can go anytime and vote. So we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I have with me right here Alicia Pardon, who's going to say a prayer.
Gracious God, we lift up our community leaders to you, asking for your wisdom and guidance in their decisions. May they be guided by your love and justice, and may they serve with integrity and compassion. Grant them strength and resilience as they face challenges, and help them to foster unity and well-being within our community. Amen.
Thank you. And before I bring out Dr. Jerome Davis, our moderators for tonight is Carmen Libes, Alicia Pardon, and Mike Fidel. Carmen Libes and Alicia Pardon are also the co-director of our conference coming up May 24th. So see the chiplorain.org website for more information. But we'll be having our conference at LCC and the gala that evening. So please join us that day. Our first person here is going to be Dr. Jerome Davis, the superintendent of Clearview Local School, and he'll be speaking on the renewal 2.5 mills. Dr. Davis.
Good evening. I am Dr. Jerome Davis, Superintendent of Clearview Local Schools, and I appreciate you taking a few moments to hear this important message regarding our district. On Tuesday, May 6, 2025, Clearview Local Schools will have a levy renewal on the ballot. This is not a new tax. This is a renewal of an existing emergency levy that has been in place, generating approximately $352,690 annually for the district. If renewed, it will continue for another 10 years. And again, it would do so without increasing taxes. These funds are a key part of our operating budget and help support the day-to-day operations of our schools. Things like staffing, transportation, utilities, classrooms, classroom materials, and student services. Without this revenue, the district would face a significant budget shortfall. The levy is not connected to any construction projects. Recent projects such as the bus garage and the wellness and fitness center, they were completed without any additional taxpayer funds. Those improvements were financed through alternative means and partnerships, allowing us to enhance our facilities while remaining fiscally responsible. Many have asked about federal COVID relief funds. While those funds were helpful, allowing us to provide every student and teacher with a Chromebook and to hire academic support staff, they were temporary and have been fully expended. The needs they addressed, however, are ongoing, especially as we continue to focus on improving academic performance. We are also navigating rising operational costs, much like families and businesses across the country. Inflation has affected everything from fuel to utilities to instructional supplies. In addition, Clearview's revenue per student is below the state median, which limits our flexibility in meeting growing needs. As part of our fiscal stewardship, the district has and is taking steps to reduce expenses, including the elimination of some staff and administrative positions. We are committed to using taxpayer dollars efficiently and responsibly. The levy on the May ballot will allow the district to maintain financial stability and continue providing educational services at appropriate levels. If this levy passes, and if this levy is renewed, if the levy is not renewed, Clearview faces a projected deficit of approximately $2 million by the 26-27 school year. While we do have a written plan to address that deficit, if needed, the plan would include further staffing reductions and program cuts. In some Ohio districts, situations like this have also resulted in state financial oversight. We want to avoid this happening. It is always our goal to maintain local control, provide quality education, and remain transparent about our financial picture. We want every voter to have accurate, clear information when making a decision. So to recap, this is a renewal, not a new tax. It maintains current funding levels. It supports operations critical to the functioning of our schools, and it does not fund construction or recent building projects. Election day is Tuesday, May 6th. Early voting began on April 8th, and so we encourage all community members to be informed and participate in the democratic process. Thank you for your time, your continued support of Clearview Local Schools, and your commitment to excellence, as well as your commitment to our students, staff, and community. Thank you.
Thank you to Dr. Davis, Clearview Superintendent, Lorain City, Clearview School District. Starting Lorain Second Ward.
We want to welcome all of the candidates who've come here tonight. We are the CHIP organization. Our purpose today, and every time that we do this candidates forum, is to officially introduce from us, candidates to the community. We always encourage, we want there to be no uncontested races. We would like there to be competition every single time. So we try to put this together basically so the community can be introduced who they are, why they're running, what they think they're bringing to the table. So each of the candidates tonight will have 1 minute for an opening statement. Will then be asked questions by the panel in which they have a 1 minute response, and then they'll end with a closing statement. We are covering wards 2 through 5 in Lorain. Ward 7 we are not covering primarily because both of the candidates were unable to make it. And then we'll cover council at large race and the municipal judges race. Okay, so we're going to start with the second ward. And today we have Ms. Rita Garcia and Victoria Kempton, who are both Democrats running for Lorain City Council second ward. And we're going to begin with opening statements, and we're going to start with Ms. Garcia. You have 1 minute.
Thank you, the CHIP Coalition Hispanic Issues in Progress, for the time in organizing this important event. I know how much time this takes. To begin, I have deep roots in Lorain. I was born and raised here from a working class family of 8. My father worked at Lake Terminal Railroad for 42 years, and we had a very good standard of living growing up. I'm asking the voters of Lorain, the second ward, to remember 3 things about me: my employment experience, my education experience, and my entrepreneur experience. Starting with my employment, I worked for Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services here in Lorain for 13 years. Lorain Head Start for 5 years. I was the education director for the Young Men's Christian Association for 2 years, and then Rita's Christian Academy for 25 years as the owner and the executive director. My education was completed here in Lorain, starting with Charleston School and ending at Admiral King High School. Continuing on to Lorain County Community College, and I received my degree in applied science and early childhood education and a liberal arts degree. Last but not least, my entrepreneur in Lorain. I combined my education and my employment and opened up Rita's Christian Academy for 25 years, serving women and children in Lorain. My story has a happy ending. I was able to fulfill my dreams. I want to raise the bar for Lorain. I love Lorain, and I will continue to stay here, live here. Thank you.
Ms. Kempton, your opening statement.
Sure. I'd like to also thank the CHIP Forum. This is very important work that you do. My name is Victoria Kempton, and I'm the councilwoman that represents Ward 2. I've had the honor of serving this community for 2 terms and calling it my home for over 25 years. Serving on council has been more than a title. It's been a journey, one that has taught me the value of listening, the strength of collaboration, and the power of showing up. I've come to believe that true leadership isn't about chasing one's own dreams, but about helping others achieve theirs. It's about ensuring that every voice is heard, every neighborhood is seen, and as your councilwoman, I work to be accessible, accountable, and present. Thank you.
We're now going to go into questions, and your first question will come from Alicia Park.
And we're going to start with Ms. Kempton. What are the current issues within your ward that prompted you to run for this office?
Thank you. So in 2019, we had a water bill crisis in this community. People were being shut off at an alarming rate. There was so much issues with water that I was able to form a group of 5,000 people on Facebook and bring 250 people to council, which is a record, week after week after week. Our new mayor took this into consideration. As of right now, had that not happened, people would be paying $61 before they paid for one drop of water. With that advocacy, we are now paying substantially less. I'm extremely proud of that. And that prompted me into actually running for council, which I beat out 3 men. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Garcia, the same question.
What are the current issues within the ward that brought me to run for office? Current issues in Ward 2, I believe, are the empty buildings that are downtown in Lorain that are in disrepair. And I want to bring my entrepreneur experience to help revitalize downtown Lorain, one building, one home at a time.
Ms. Garcia, question number 13. If you could change one thing in the way council meetings are conducted, what would it be and why?
I believe I would give the citizens more time. I understand right now it's 2 minutes. I would give them at least 3 minutes to express their concerns. And then plan of action would be a follow-up to address the issues that they have.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Ms. Kempton, the same question.
I love this question. I would say that council members need to put away their personal devices, their personal computers and their personal phones. We are given a city phone and a city computer. Any work that is being done during that time should be on those devices. This would save, I believe, the issues of transparency, and I believe it is just professional. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to do question number 5 with starting with Ms. Kempton, and that's, if elected, how do you hope to contribute to Lorain's economic development? But if you already hold office, how have you contributed to Lorain's economic development?
So I was the deciding vote on one of the biggest pieces of economic development in Lorain, which was Broadway Commons. And I'm very proud of that vote. It was $20 million. But it isn't the only thing that I've been able to do. I have been able to knock on doors of shops and places in my ward and to say, did you need ARPA funds? And with that, we were able to get ARPA funding for many, many businesses in my ward. So they were either able to stay afloat or they were able to expand. So that's what I do. I knock on doors, I call people, and I try to help them in any way I can.
Ms. Garcia, same question.
If elected, I hope to contribute to Lorain's income development by looking for grants, loans, City Hall, Community Development, State of Ohio. That's how I began my business, is I got a loan through Lorain County Community Development through Doug Ringel. In fact, I got 2 loans, and that's how I got started, and it was very beneficial and helpful. You need working capital, you need leasehold improvements, and you need the money to get started. I would help with the citizens in that area.
Thank you. So now we're going to move into closing statements, which you both will have 1 minute. Ms. Kempton, we'll start with you.
I believe I'm the best candidate for this job because I show up. I've had 6 town halls since I've been on council. I started a podcast. I have worked with all kinds of organizations. I have never missed a council meeting. I have never missed one of my own committee meetings. I believe in the people of Ward 2. We are on the precipice of something great. I believe changing directions now would only set us back for a long time. I ask the people of Ward 2 for your vote on May 6th. Thank you.
Again, I have deep roots in Lorain. I was born and raised here. When you go to the voting booth, please look at my employment experience, look at my education experience, and my entrepreneur experience. If you total that, that's 45 years that I've committed and dedicated my life to serving the citizens of Lorain.
All right, and that concludes the Lorain City Council second ward race. We're going to take a brief moment to transition into Lorain City Council third ward.
Welcome back. We're now going to start with opening statements. You each will have 1 minute for your opening statement. We'll start with Ms. Carter.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Pam Carter, and I proudly serve as the councilwoman for Lorain's third ward currently. Thank you for having me here today at the CHIP event. It has been an honor to represent the third ward for the past 5 terms. During that time, I've served on several committees, but my greatest honor has been serving as the chair of Parks Committee. When I first took office in 2016, our parks programs had all but disappeared. With the help of my work experience and my family's deep knowledge, I launched an initiative to bring life back into our green spaces, encouraging appreciation, participation, and enjoyment. Since then, I've worked tirelessly to revitalize our community with the reopening of Oakwood Pool with Ray Carrion's help and City Council, restoring parks and mentoring our youth through programs like Boys to Men's Reading Group, which was at the Lorain City Schools but became defunct during COVID, the Arts in the Park, and I Can Swim My Way, and those are 2 things that my family contribute. And it's currently still happening. The Swim My Way is the program that gives children who can't necessarily afford the regular price for swimming lessons, they get free lessons. I've prioritized public safety by working closely with the Lorain Police Department and building partnerships with organizations like Save Our Streets to address teen violence. I have proudly resided in the third ward for 32 years, which includes attending Lorain City Schools as a student and raising my family right here in this ward. I believe that makes me truly vested in the future of our community. My experience, leadership, and deep-rooted commitment to the third ward make me proud to continue this work. I thank you for the opportunity to earn your vote, and with your support, we can keep building on our progress and create even more opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. Mr. Williamson, the same 1 minute statement.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank CHIP and all the individuals associated with CHIP on having this type of event. I think it's very useful, very informational, and very conducive to what we do, so thank you all. My name's Harry Williamson, Jr. I'm from Lorain, Ohio. I was born at the old St. Joe's, born here, product of Lorain City Schools, the Lorain High, Longfellow, Larkmore, Lorain County Community College. I've stayed here. I've stayed here my entire life. The only time I left was to go into the United States Air Force and serve our country. I returned. I've worked in Lorain in the communications field. for almost 40 years. I've been very, very active within the community. I've served on the Lorain Port Authority. I've served on the Executive Council for the Lorain County Democratic Party. I've been a precinct committee person for the Democratic Party. I have been on many, many committees. I have helped many, many organizations along those years, and I'm proud to say that I've lived in my house in Ward 3 for almost 38 years. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll now go into our very first question, and we're going to begin with Mr. Williamson. It is number 6 on your sheet. If elected, how would you ensure that residents of your ward have access to you when the need arises? And please be specific.
Great question. As an elected official, we should be available to all our constituents. And I promise you, we are issued city cell phones. We're not issued those just to turn them off and use them as a paperweight. We are issued those to handle city business. I will be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There will be emails. I will return calls. I will create a Ward 3 social media post to inform the residents and the constituents of what's going on and give them a platform in order to let me know, to voice their opinions or their concerns. We're elected. We're the elected officials for the constituents. We should be available. We should not ignore the people that put us in the office. And I promise you that I will return my calls, I will return my emails, and I will be at your home if you ask me to. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williamson. Ms. Carter, if re-elected, how would you ensure that the residents of your ward have access to you when the need arises? And please be specific.
Okay. So yes, the city does issue out city-issued cell phones. I do work a full-time job. However, when I am not available, my phone calls are forwarded over to the council clerk. And I also have access to council at large because I work in a school system. So I cannot do school business during, I cannot do council business during school hours. So I have it all set up where a lot of my daytime calls, I forward over to the council clerk, or I contact the council at large, and Mary Spinzowski has definitely been one that I have always relied on to cover my phone calls and to cover areas in the ward that I can't get to during work hours. And then after hours, I return their calls. And I've also emailed people back, which I don't have a problem with returning calls and answering people's questions. So I've always done it, and I'll continue to do that.
Thank you. So for your second question will be number 3 on your sheet. We're going to start with you, Ms. Carter. Citizens are allowed time to cite concerns and grievances to Lorain City Council. Currently, council does not respond after being addressed. Do you agree with this position? Why or why not? Would you vote to change it?
So that question right there, when council meets, we are there to do legislative work. Now, after council meetings, we are available. If we can answer the question, we'll gladly answer the question. But if it's something that we can't answer right then, I think it's smart that we get the answer first and then call you back.
Thank you. Mr. Williamson, same question.
Thank you. I absolutely, wholeheartedly think that if a citizen comes to a council meeting, they should have the opportunity to address council, and council should. Let's talk about transparency, folks. We want transparency. We want the people, especially in Ward 3. I mean, if a Ward 3 constituent of mine comes to a meeting and asks me a question, I should be able to have the opportunity to answer that question. We may not agree on things, but at least I will give him or her that answer. And again, it's just another definition of transparency, because I know there are times that individuals ask questions after the meeting. I will get back to you. I will address it. I'll send you an email. Absolutely. I would change that in a heartbeat. If one of my Ward 3 constituents comes to a council meeting, finds it important enough and imperative to come to that meeting, they should be able to have the opportunity to ask me a question and me to answer that question. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Williamson. The next question, we'll start with you, Mr. Williamson, is question 1. If elected, what attributes, skills do you bring to your elected position, and how would you utilize these attributes, skills to meet the needs of the citizens in your ward?
Well, my leadership, my resume speaks for itself. I was president of Lorain County AFL-CIO for 10 years, over 7,000 members. I was the president of Communication Workers of America for over 20 years. I've served on the budget, the strategic planning, different committees for the Lorain Port Authority. I am familiar with how to deal with issues. I do have the experience. I do have the knowledge on how to react, how to, you have to have a way to resolve issues, and everybody feel that it was a give and a take. So I definitely have the experience. I've lived the experience. I've got actually the skills, and I am more than qualified to handle those positions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williamson. Ms. Carter, the same question?
Yes, I am currently the sitting council person in the seat. I've been there for 5 terms, which equal out to 10 years. So I think that my record has definitely spoken for itself. You can look me up look at my resume. You can call some of the administrators and some of the workers with this at the city, and you will know that I am well qualified for this position. So that's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you both. And we're going to go into our closing statements, and we're going to start with you, Mr. Williamson.
Thank you. Thank you again, Chip, and all the individuals that makes this possible. Again, Harry Williamson Jr., I'm born here, raised here. I'm Lorain proud. Actually, we are sitting, some of you don't know that, we are sitting in my Ward 3's. This is in Ward 3. The only public high school in the city of Lorain is right here in Ward 3. I'm excited. I have plans to interact with the schools and different organizations and the different business owners. I want to have things that affect constituents in Ward 3, let's say Precinct A, are some different issues that affect Ward 3 Issue F. So I want to have town hall meetings. I want to get the businesses. I want their opinions. I want to be involved. I want to be engaged. And I will be that person. I'm retired. I can devote 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to this position. And I humbly, humbly ask for your support and your vote. You can vote early now or on May 6th. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mr. Williamson. Ms. Carter, your closing statement.
Yes, thank you again. And in closing, I'm Pamela Carter, proud to have served as the councilwoman for the Lorain's 3rd Ward. It has truly been an honor to represent this community for the past 10 years. From breathing new life into our parks to reopening Oakwood Pool, mentoring our youth, and partnering to improve public safety, every step of this journey has been rooted in love for this ward, where I've lived, learned, and raised my family for over 30 years. At times, this work has been challenging, but every moment has been worth it. I've poured my heart into this role because I believe in the strength and the potential of this community. I'm proud of the progress we've made together, and I remain committed to pushing forward because our work is not done. With your continued support, we can build on our success and create an even more opportunity for our families and for our future. I want to once again thank you again for having me, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to earn your vote. And as stated, you can early vote now, or you can wait till May 6th. I just would like your vote.
I want to thank you both for joining us tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, please stay with us. We'll be right back to cover the 4th Ward race. Thank you.
All right, we'd like to welcome everyone back for the Lorain City Council 4th Ward race. We'd like to welcome Ms. Eileen Torres and her and unfortunately, her opponent, Nicholas Demakia, was unable to attend, so we will still run through the normal format and ask the same questions. So we're going to go ahead and start with your 1-minute opening statement.
First of all, thank you to Chip for allowing me this opportunity to present my vision for Lorain. After 25 years in Washington, D.C., I returned permanently to Lorain in 2016. And upon my arrival, I resolved to do my part in lifting Lorain. I have 3 major priorities. One is to introduce non-traditional industry to Lorain. This is something that I've been working on for 2.5 years, and it will have tremendous ramifications for our city. Also, I'm interested in increasing the graduation rates of our high school seniors through an artificial intelligence program being piloted in 266 locations around the country. And thirdly, to engage youth in civic engagement so that they understand the workings of the city, the state, and the country so we can build leadership. Lastly, I would like to say to everybody listening, no matter the outcome of this election, I will continue to work for Lorain.
Okay, Ms. Torres, for your first question. And I understand your statement as to why you came back and what you want to do, but there's a lot of things you could have run for. There's a lot of things you could have done. So my question to you will be number 2 on your sheet. Was there a current issue within your ward that prompted you to want to run for councilwoman in this ward?
Yes, there was a very prominent issue. Nobody was running. And so I felt it was my duty and my responsibility to step forward, step up, and step into this responsibility, which I take very seriously.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. The next question is going to be number 7. What do you believe will be the greatest challenge for the city of Lorain during the next 2 years, and how should it be addressed?
The greatest challenge to our city is a lack of wealth. When you don't have the proper funding, there are many things you must cut back on, many things that you can't deliver, and more charges that are placed upon our citizens. And so my idea, as I stated, is to bring non-traditional industry. We have to build upon our manufacturing past, which has done so many great things for us in our city. However, that time has passed and manufacturing isn't at the top. So non-traditional industries that will bring more people in for training, new jobs, high-paying jobs is what I'm working on currently.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Torres, for your last question is going to be number 13. If you could change one thing in the way that council meetings are conducted, what would that be and why?
I would have a 3-minute limit on the citizens who want to address council, and I would also have 3 minutes for council to respond. Another thing that I would do is explain what the issues are that they are saying, okay, we're going to skip the 3rd reading, and we're not really aware of what they're referring to. So I would make that just a little bit more plain, a little bit more clear for people who may be visiting for the first time or don't regularly attend the meetings.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Now you'll have an opportunity to do a closing statement.
I pledge to be responsive to all the residents of the Fourth Ward, regardless of political affiliation. I will be a strong voice for your interests. I will work cooperatively with city leaders in their efforts to attract additional revenue streams, to fortify our infrastructure, and to create a path to prosperity. I invite Fourth Ward residents to join me next Thursday, April 17th, at Redmond's on Oberlin Avenue from 6 to 8 for a meet and greet and more in-depth discussion. If my goals align with your vision for Lorain, I humbly ask you to write my name in on the ballot because there are no names next to the Fourth Ward. You have to color in the little dot and type in EILEENTORRES.
Good.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. This now concludes our Lorain City Council Fourth Ward. We will take a few minutes to transition to the Lorain City Council Fifth Ward.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're now going to cover the Lorain City Council Fifth Ward, which has Ms. Moon as the incumbent, being challenged by two candidates, Ms. Gonzalez, Ms. Sabrina Gonzalez, and Mr. Matthew Stead. So we're going to begin with opening statements. Welcome, and we'll start with Ms. Gonzalez.
Hello, my name is Sabrina Gonzalez. I was born and raised in the Fifth Ward, along with my whole family. Grandparents came over from Puerto Rico in the late 1940s, work at the steel mill, and from there, my family has grown and mostly stayed in the Fifth and Sixth Wards. I have cousins, aunts, uncles, parents, my son, all living in the Fifth and Sixth Wards. We are Southside strong for sure. That is one of the reasons why I am running. Other than I feel a calling, I feel that what's going on in the state of the country is scary. And instead of being scared, I feel like it's time for me to jump up, do something, and get involved. It's time to get involved. It's time for me to try and make a community out of my community, bring us all together, and figure out what we can do so that we're not scared if things get taken away from us that we're used to depending on, and learn to depend on each other.
Ms. Moon, your opening statement?
Well, good evening. Thank you, Chip, for inviting me here tonight. My name is Joanne Moon. I've been Fifth Ward Council person since 2016. During my time, I've accomplished many improvements, and in my ward, I help with the management of the city of Lorain. My civic duties include working in Lorain City Auditor's Office, working at Lorain Board of Election, and working for Lorain City School. As you can see, I'm very involved.
Thank you, Ms. Moon. Mr. Stead, your opening statement, sir.
I'd like to thank Chip for allowing me to introduce myself. My name is Matthew Stead. I was born at St. Joseph's Hospital, grew up in LaGrange, graduated from Keystone. I was the first to graduate Labor's Local 758 in Lorain in the newly implemented apprenticeship program. I traveled for work for 5 years, have covered more than 3/4 of the country. Then moved back to Ward 5 8 years ago. My family has been invested in Lorain since the late 1950s, and I'm looking to carry the torch. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stead. Now we're going to move to question 5. Ms. Moon, the question is, if re-elected, how do you hope to contribute to Lorain's economic development? If you already hold office, how have you contributed to Lorain's economic development?
Well, in my ward, I have new business coming in, And I also have people that come into my ward to rehab homes. So they are also hiring people. But I feel we have to all work together and keep them in Lorain because a lot of them come here and they leave us. But as a council person, I have been out talking to different people to come in, and I have several friends that have business in downtown Lorain.
Thank you, Ms. Moon. Mr. Stead, if elected, how do you hope to contribute to Lorain's economic development? If you already hold office, how have you contributed to Lorain's economic development?
Well, with or without the council seat, I'm looking to rehabilitate abandoned homes and build new modest, affordable ranch homes on the vacant lots in Lorain, while offering land contract opportunities where a mortgage might not be available, putting ownership back into the people living in the house. They tend to take care of the aesthetics, improving property values, offering a chance to establish generational wealth. Also, that being said, I would also try to look into bringing any kind of grocery store chains or anything we can into the Fifth Ward where there's a food desert. And I think being able to have that kind of stability would help any way we could. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stead. Ms. Gonzalez, the same question.
First things first, we need to clean up the city. There is garbage, literal garbage, all over the Fifth Ward. And it doesn't mean that we're all littering. Garbage cans fall over, it is very windy, but then the garbage stays there, clogs up the sewer systems and the ditches. Then the streets flood, and then we have more problems. So first things first, clean it up. Address the vacant properties. Education is a big deal. If you want good, high-paying jobs to come in, the people have to be educated, and we have the resources in Lorain. We have the resources. A big problem is that people don't know what they are. So creating a connection between the college, the high school, the elementary schools, the preschools, and the people would be a very strong point to make sure that when a business does come here, we can say, we've got the people ready for you. All you have to do is bring yourself, and we can fill those seats.
Thank you. And for your second question, we're going to start with you, Mr. Stead. It's going to be question number 2 on your sheet. What are the current issues within your ward that prompted you to run for this office?
Well, the lack of resources for the homeless, along with a large number of individuals falling into that category. The lack of accountability held for out-of-area, out-of-state landlords neglecting their investment. And that was pretty much it.
Thank you. Ms. Gonzalez, the same question.
The biggest thing for all of us is always going to be the potholes and the broken sidewalks and the out street lights and the people speeding down the street, all the businesses that are closed that either need to be knocked over or emptied out and be renovated and available to people to start new businesses. That is what prompted me. There's a lot of change that needs to be made. There are a lot of things that need to be addressed that I think are simple at this point. We know what they are. We just have to do it. And it's a matter of getting it done and attracting the new businesses in.
Thank you. And Ms. Moons, same question. What are the current issues within your ward that prompted you to run for re-election for this office?
I grew up in the Fifth Ward, and I live in the house that I grew up in, but it's the homeless. But we have made progress in the homeless. We have, the Haven House had 64 beds. Now we're up to 80 beds. And we have a new program that's coming into the ward, which is HUD, which is really good. And we're also going to have South Garden, which will have 112 ward housing, and we will also have a new park that they just broke ground for.
Thank you. All right, for your third question, you guys have talked now about the issues and what you hope to accomplish. Now let's talk a little bit about you. If elected, what attributes do you bring to your elected position, and how would you utilize these attributes or skills to meet the needs of the citizens in your ward? And we're going to begin with Ms. Gonzalez.
Well, from 2015 to 2019, I managed a group of artists that was completely new to me, but I quickly had to learn how to read and write legal contracts to, one, get people out of their contracts so they can come over with me, and to be able to write a good, fair contract. So I understand legal jargon from that perspective. Also, during the pandemic, I worked for the Department of Unemployment. I had to learn how to read and interpret legislation and regulations for those types of laws. And now I am an insurance agent, a licensed insurance agent, licensed in all 51 states. Washington, D.C. is the 51st. They have their own rules, and you have to understand how to read and interpret all of the legislation, all of the regulations in every single one of those places. So I would have a great understanding right off the bat to make sure we're not writing laws that are going to hurt us more than help us.
Thank you. Ms. Moon, your attributes and skills and how you would use them.
I will, first of all, the voting record in the Fifth Ward is pretty sad. 2015, 282 people. 2023, 285 people out of 4,495 registered voters. I've been trying to get out, do absentees, and explain to them how important voting is. You have a voice. Use your voice. Come out and vote. Let's make this Fifth Ward look good, because I'm tired of hearing we don't vote in that ward.
Thank you, Ms. Moon. Mr. Stead, same question?
Well, with 10-plus years in construction management, I know what it takes to bring people of all backgrounds and abilities together, from the new guy on the job to the general contractor of the project. And I'm froze. Go ahead.
It's okay.
Thank
It's
you.
okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
That was my second time.
It's
All
okay.
right, so we're going to go ahead and move into closing statements. You will each get 1 minute, and Ms. Moon, we'll start with you.
Well, thank you, Chip, and thank you, audience, for being here, residents. Opportunity to share with you this evening. If you have any questions, you may, discuss them with me. As a Fifth Ward person, I am here for you and the community. I promise to continue to be positive and influence in Lorain, Ohio, and to support the improvement in Ward 5. Please remember me on May 6, 2025, Joanne Moon, re-elect her.
Thank you, Ms. Moon. Mr. Stead, your 1 minute closing remark.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share some of my stances on the issues affecting the Fifth Ward and Lorain as a whole. I'm honored to be on the ballot representing the Fifth Ward. That being said, May 6th, vote for Matthew Stead. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Gonzalez, your closing remarks.
I'm ready. I'm ready to get to work. When I made this decision to run, I forgot about the whole part where I have to actually campaign and get everyone's votes. I was like, yeah, I'm ready to just get to work. I'm ready to make some change. I'm ready to make meet some new neighbors. I'm ready to make some new connections, bring some new things in, brighten up everything, make sure that we're all taking care of each other the way we were always meant to. I'm ready, and thank you. for providing this opportunity for me to speak, because I definitely didn't thank you in the beginning, but thank you now. Because public speaking is hard, and so I probably wouldn't have just jumped out. Speaking of that, I do have an event this Sunday at the South Branch Library where I'm inviting the 5th Ward to come. Let me know what kind of changes they want to see in our ward, what they want to be stopped, what they need to come in. I have my own ideas, but I don't want to push all my bright ideas on everybody else. What do you want? I want to make that happen.
All right, thank you. And that concludes the Lorain City Council 5th Ward, and we're going to take a quick break as we transition into Lorain Municipal Court Judge race.
Good job.
We want to welcome everybody back. We're getting ready to do the Lorain Municipal Court Judge. We're going to start with an opening statement.
Sounds like you can't hear.
I can't hear
Hold on, we can't hear.
They can't hear you.
I don't think your mic's on.
Okay.
Ours are.
Let's start this again. It's working. Can you hear it, Carmen?
Can you hear me?
Oh, now we can.
Okay.
Okay, let's start again. Go ahead.
Okay. Welcome back. We're going to get into the Lorain Municipal Court Judge, and we're going to start with a 1-minute opening statement. We'll start with Mr. Rewalk.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and also thank you to the Coalition for Hispanic Issues in Progress for hosting this event. My name is Christopher Rewalk, and I'm running to be your next judge of the Lorain Municipal Court. I'm experienced as an attorney representing families in crisis, adults, juveniles, serving as a guardian ad litem representing the best interest of children and victims of domestic violence. I believe in access to justice, and that's why I've served and represented a number of people pro bono and through the Modest Means program with the Lorain County Bar Association to ensure that people in civil cases, the judgment of the case doesn't depend on how much money you have in the bank and whether you can hire an attorney. I serve as acting judge in Lorain Municipal Court, and I received a highly recommended rating by the Lorain County Bar Association. I'm engaged and present in the community. I have been for years and will continue to do so even if elected. I'm president of Lorain International Association, celebrating the diversity of Lorain, secretary of Second Harvest Food Bank, working to end food insecurity. And these experiences in judgment matter because this court matters.
Thank you, Mr. Rewalk. Ms. Santiago, your 1-minute opening statement.
Thank you to all of you and Chip and for everyone out there for watching tonight. I'm not going to use my time and start by listing titles or years of practice because the experience that I bring to this race, quite frankly, is deeper than a resume. It's rooted in the lived experiences so many families here in Lorain share. I don't come from a long line of doctors or judges. I come from a hardworking, blue-collar family. My parents' sacrifices allowed me to become the first person in my family to go to college. I was born here, raised here, graduated from Lorain Emerald King High School, and I still live here today with my family. And you know, that's real experience. That's Lorain experience. And I carry that perspective into everything that I do. Perspective matters, and especially on the bench. People bring more than a case number into the courtroom. They bring struggles, their families, and hope for fairness. I've been a defense attorney. I'm now chief assistant prosecutor. And every day I have to make fast, high-stakes decisions that affect victims, defendants, and public safety. And that's not just experience, it's proven judgment. And it's exactly what I'll bring to the bench.
Thank you, Ms. Santiago. Ms. Weber?
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Linda Weber, running for Lorain Municipal Court Judge. Thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. I'm a lifelong resident of Lorain. I attended Lorain High School and elementary school all the way through the city schools. My mother was a teacher in the city schools for over 30 years. I'm married. I've been married to my husband for 22 years. We have 2 children. Our son attends Ohio State University, and my daughter is a senior in high school. I've been an attorney for over 30 years in this community. Currently, since 2017, I've served as the magistrate in the Lorain Municipal Court. I handle cases for both Judge Elwell and Judge Mihak, and I've handled over 20,000 cases as a magistrate. Prior to becoming a magistrate, I was a prosecutor for over 20 years, handling cases in municipal courts. I have the experience it takes to do the job, and I'd ask for your support on May 6th.
Thank you, Ms. Weber. And now we're going to go into questions, and we're going to start with a tough question. Question number 2 on your sheets, and we'll start with Ms. Santiago. Ms. Santiago, please describe the most challenging ethical dilemma you have encountered within the legal profession and how you dealt with it.
Oftentimes in the municipal courts, it's not uncommon that a victim on a case might turn into a defendant on a case and vice versa, a defendant turning into a victim. But every single day as chief prosecutor in the city of Lorain, when I confront that, it's important that I rely back on my experience of sitting with victims, meeting with defendants and their families to learn their perspectives and come to a just result in the middle. And in the middle of all of that is also finding a way to not only hold the right people accountable, but to keep our community safe and make sure that everyone in those parties and the community at large is heard.
Thank you, Ms. Santiago. Ms. Weber, the most challenging ethical dilemma you have encountered within the legal profession and how you dealt with it.
Well, as a magistrate, you're responsible for making sure that the attorneys in your courtroom are conducting themselves appropriately and abiding by the rules. I had a situation once where one attorney was challenging the other attorney as far as their status as an attorney and their ability to practice law and the state of their license. So we had to deal with that. The way we ended up addressing it is we contacted the Supreme Court. We did a conference call with all the parties for clarification. And as it turned out, the attorney that was being challenged was permitted to be doing what they were doing. But it made for a rather tense situation until the matter got resolved. But that would be one of the situations I've encountered.
Thank you, Ms. Weber. Mr. Rewak, your ethical dilemma.
Well, given my current position, I'm working with a lot of clients every day, a diverse range of clients. And sometimes a client will ask you to do something that either violates the law or your ethical obligations. And at that point, you have a choice. Do you let them dictate what happens, or do you challenge them on it? Or do you simply withdraw? In many cases, it's easy enough to just walk away from the case. And I can do that, and I've done that many times. But oftentimes, they just don't understand why you can't do something. So you need to sit them down and have frank discussions about their case and where they stand, about your ethical obligations as an attorney, and why you can't do what they're asking you to do, and why it's not in their best interest for you to do what they're asking you to do. And at that point, you talk to them frankly, honestly, sometimes sternly, and sometimes tough. And you get the point across to them that you cannot do what they're asking you to do.
We thank all three of you for those answers.
Okay, so moving on to the second question, Ms. Weber, we're going to start with you. It is question 6 on your sheet. As a judge, do you feel any obligation in ensuring that mental health variables are identified and considered during trial and sentencing phases? Why or why not?
Absolutely. It's important for a variety of reasons, but it really starts before trial. You need to make sure that the individual is competent to even stand trial. But if you get past that hurdle, it's important then during the trial to make sure that the individual has full access to justice, that there's no barriers that are preventing them from fully participating in the trial. And then when you get to sentencing, it's important to fashion a sentence that would best suit them and suit the community as far as hopefully preventing them from reoffending again. So it's important from the first time you see them to assess the situation and make a determination on whether or not a further investigation is necessary.
Thank you. Mr. Rewalk, same question?
The answer is yes. One, because it's necessary, and two, because it's the law. As a judge, when you sentence someone, you're ordered to or directed to punish the offender, but also protect the public by preventing future offenses. Well, if mental health or substance abuse is a driver of their offense, how would you ever do that without assessing it? You're also dictated by law to rehabilitate the offender and pick a sentence that does so. How would you do so if you have not assessed it? But I would go a step further than just simply assessing this at sentencing. We should be assessing this at each and every step we go. One, where you're going to see somebody at an initial appearance, set bond. As a condition of bond, if mental health seems to be a factor in their offense, then that should be assessed at that time quickly so that the process starts in assessing that. Two, we should be assessing over the course of this and doing an assessment at plea and ultimately figuring it into the assessment sentencing factors.
Thank you. Ms. Santiago, same question?
Thank you. The court should absolutely be taking mental health variables into consideration to make sure that a defendant is able to step into their case and assist their attorney in defending themselves. But as importantly, during the sentencing phase of a case, the court should not just be taking mental health variables into account, they should be taking other variables, economics that a family might be experiencing, homelessness might be another one, drug and alcohol issues. And when the court does that, they're able to really think about what those parties and the perspectives of those parties, what they need at the time of sentencing. So it very much goes beyond mental health variables, but it goes into all variables that the court's presented with. The court has an opportunity to learn those perspectives from those parties so that they can make sound judgment at the time of sentencing to help keep our community safe by keeping the right people accountable, listening to everybody inside court, and protecting the rights of victims.
Thank you, Ms. Santiago. Now we'll move on to the third question. Trial.
To ensure a fair trial, the first thing we need to do is respect everyone that comes into the courtroom. Ensure that everyone's time is respected, that we organize our docket in such a way that people aren't needlessly sitting in court for hours at a time over and over again. That we allow people before the court to be heard, not only just to talk, but to feel that they're heard, whether it's a victim or whether it's a defendant or whether it's a civil litigant or anyone else. By staying calm, by educating people when they come in. Many courts have papers that explain to you the process, a screen. Some courts even do a video. That could be done in this court. Sometimes we do a lot of jail cases by video. Some in person may be necessary. We may need to go back to that. Also, a judge may need to engage in the pretrial process, check in on a case either at a settlement conference, but also make sure everybody, attorneys, litigants, understand the law and the rules applying to them.
Thank you. Ms. Santiago, the same question.
Thank you. Of course, rules of evidence and procedure apply, and judges have to make sure that defendants are getting their due process they're constitutionally entitled to. And victims of crime also have constitutional rights that need to be adhered to as well. And in that, what's important, if not more important, is that the public has a judge that is able to acknowledge that people come into courtrooms as individuals and that they're not case numbers. That they bring families, challenges, struggles, hopes into the courtroom with them. And that is where our fairness lies. When I'm on the campaign trail, that is what I hear from people. That is what fairness is to them, to be seen as an individual person with an individual circumstance, and that their perspective is being acknowledged and heard inside the courtroom.
Thank you, Ms. Santiago. Ms. Weber, same question. What steps would you take as a municipal court judge to ensure a fair trial?
Well, it starts by making sure that all the parties are advised of the process. As a magistrate currently, when people come to court, I let them know what's going to happen, what to expect, what the order of the proceedings is going to be. I try to determine if there's any barriers, maybe language. Do they need an interpreter? Make sure that they have everything they need so that they can present a meaningful case and discussion to the court of the facts of their case. Also, I strive to always make sure that the parties' rights are protected and that they're given adequate time to express their point of view, and to assure them that I will hear everyone's side, because sometimes they get a little excited, they want to talk over each other, and I assure them that you will have your chance and you will have your time, and I am going to listen, and I'm not going to make any decision until I've heard all sides of the case. At that point, then, it's the job of the judge or the magistrate to render a fair and impartial decision. But you want everyone to feel like they have had their opportunity and that all their rights have been protected.
Okay, before we go into closing statements, I've got to say, we've been doing this for 9 years together, okay? And never, since we've been doing this, have we received the education, the honesty, just for you guys to open up the way you did, and all of you. I mean, in our opinion, at least in the municipal court race this time, Lorain cannot do wrong. All three of you have earned our respect here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
And with that, we will give you time for your closing statements, and we will begin with Ms. Santiago.
Thank you. To all of you, I want you to know that I'm not running for political gain or out of a sense of entitlement. I'm running because I believe myself to be the very best candidate here to serve this community in a court that will impact people's daily lives and hold accountable those who are threatening our safety. That's why I was the first to announce my candidacy and why I've been meeting with residents formally since last August. When we talk about experience, let's not confuse longevity with impact. Experience isn't just about time. It's about trust, it's about perspective and sound judgment. And I bring all three to this race. So I'm not just asking for your vote, I'm asking you to help ensure that your court, your bench, reflects the people that it serves. Let's make sure our values, our voices, and our perspectives are a part of every decision made inside of your courtroom. This race isn't just about who sits on the bench, it's about whether or not your perspective sits there too. I am Mallory Santiago, and I would be honored to serve you next year.
Thank you. Ms. Weber, your closing statement.
Thank you for taking the time to listen this evening. It's my hope that you've learned a little bit more about me and my qualifications to be judge. Not only do I have the experience, but I have the desire and the drive to move the court forward and to serve the community. I believe the court should always strive to utilize best practices, to promote access to justice, and to preserve the independence and integrity of the court. I am very proud and humbled that I recently received the highly recommended recommendation from the Lorain County Bar Association in their 2025 judicial poll. Not only did I receive highly recommended overall, but in all 5 categories, which included integrity and character, commitment and efficiency, judicial temperament, independence, and legal capacity. I am doing the job. I am not a judge, I am a magistrate, but I am handling cases, I am deciding cases, and I respectfully request that you cast your vote for me, Linda A. Weber.
And Mr. Rewa, your closing statement.
Thank you, everyone, for giving us your time this evening. I've talked about my legal experience and my community experience. Let me talk about something else. For 10 years before and during law school, I worked with the program providing in-home services to juveniles and their families in an effort to address the underlying issues leading them into court and to keep them out. Those substance abuse, mental health, and family conflict issues that bring the same people before this court. And those were lessons learned not in a law school classroom, not in a courtroom, but in the living rooms of regular people. And I've been in those living rooms throughout my career. I learned lessons of respect, responsibility, and an efficient use of resources of the public. Those are the same lessons I learned graduating and growing up in Lorain, graduating from Southview. Same lessons I learned serving my community through multiple angles. Same lessons I learned in providing access to justice, and the same lessons I would carry as the next judge of Lorain Municipal Court. This court matters, and that judgment matters, and I'd ask for your vote.
Thank you, all three of you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for
Thank you all.
participating today. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with our last race, the Lorain Council at Large.
All right, we'd like to welcome everyone back for our last race, which is the Lorain City Council at Large. We have 5 candidates with us tonight, and unfortunately, Mr. Tony Demakia is unable to attend. But we are going to start with opening statements of 1 minute, and we're going to start with Ms. Duval.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank CHIPS again for presenting this public service. I think it's very important that people know something about the candidates that they're going to be voting for. My name is Sylvia Duval. I am a teacher of over 50 years. I have come to Lorain for a job and stayed. I love Lorain. I think it's a city that's a gem just waiting to burst out of its cocoon. And that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Mr. Fallis.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the CHIP organization for providing this forum together where the candidates in Lorain can share their views and what they'd like to see happen in Lorain. So thank you. My name is Mitchell Fallis, and I'm seeking election to Lorain Council at Large. I'm a lifelong Lorain resident and a product of Lorain City Schools. I have 12 years of previous City Council at Large experience. I bring a strong combination of city financial leadership, education, and economic development experience. I have a keen record of identifying city problems and providing solutions. A couple years ago, the city of Lorain, the officials there, they wanted to know what the impact would be of ARPA funding when all that money was spent. And so I went on, did a forecast, a 5-year forecast, to determine where the gaps were, where expenses were greater than revenue. And I came up with a plan, a 5-year plan to financially fix that funding gap. That funding gap really hasn't been addressed thoroughly at all, and it still exists. We will have financial shortfalls in 2027. Again, I'm running for City Council at Large, and I like to use my skills to get a balanced budget in our city, and I ask for your support and vote. Thank you so much. Mitchell Fallis for Council at Large.
Thank you. Mr. Flores.
Thank you. I'm Dennis Flores. I'm running for Council at Large. The best thing that ever happened to me was being born in Lorain, St. Joseph's Hospital. Anna and Pablo Flores migrated from Puerto Rico in the 1940s. My dad worked the mill 39 years. I served the community and the residents of Lorain for 30 years. Public service was 10 years on council. I worked my way back to council, and so this is one step that I'm going to take to try to get back on council, so I'm asking for your support.
Thank you. Mr. Reed?
First of all, I would like to thank Chip for having this event and having us all here tonight. My name is Jacob Reed. I have lived in Lorain for 5 years, but I've worked in Lorain for 15 years at Oberlin College. I'm also president of UAW Local 2192, and I bargain the contracts for our unit at Oberlin College. I am a proud union member, and I have enjoyed the 5 years I've lived in Lorain, and when I'm elected to Lorain City Council at large, I will work hard every day for the citizens of Lorain. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Springowski?
Buenas noches y gracias a Chip por organizar este evento. Good evening and thank you to Chip for organizing this event. My name is Mary Springowski and I am seeking re-election to Lorain City Council at large. My story is Lorain's story. My parents were immigrants to this country and chose Lorain as their home to raise their family. You, the people of Lorain, elected me in 2015 and I have served you ever since. I have the experience and a wealth of knowledge for the position. I've served 8 years as President Pro Tempore of Council, and I led the Building and Lands Committee, served as the Vice Chair of Finance, and have served on police, fire, and legislation and federal programs. I am extremely knowledgeable in parliamentary procedure and Robert's Rules of Order, which govern City Council. I am also easily the most accessible council member on council via email, phone, and text. It is with this effective leadership that I ask you to return me as your voice on council. I have always said I represent the people, not the party. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sprinkowski. The first question is going to be number 11, and we'll start with Mr. Fallis. The question is, Lorain has over 50 parks and nowhere near the manpower and resources to maintain them all on a regular basis. Can you offer any ideas to lessen this burden on the Parks and Recreation Department?
Yeah, thank you so much. That's been an ongoing issue in our city for a long, long time. And I'd like to address that question this way. Lorain is in need of increasing its tax base. And so we need to leverage our assets that we have, such as our waterfront, riverfront, and our remediated brownfield site in order to attract emerging industries such as advanced manufacturing, IT, AI, and tourism in order to increase our tax base. So we have the abilities and the finances to keep and maintain our parks. Our parks are situated in a spot where there's not really too many people knocking on our door to actually purchase that property and do something with it. So I don't really see that there's the ability for us to divest of them, but I think the solution is to grow our tax base. And that impacts our city on multiple fronts. It impacts our city's finances, it impacts our school district, and it impacts I think the beauty and quality of our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Flores, same question.
Same question. I think the parks and recs are have an uptick going now. There's a lot of work being done at Oakwood. But I think you should implement programs. I know the summer programs, we had summer interns, and they ran the facilities at the parks where you could check out a basketball or some tennis rackets, or they had different craft events for the kids to come to the park and things to do. I think that, we should implement some of those programs and try to, use the parks. One of the things I like about, they implemented the disc golf. I'm gonna have to go out there and try that. And, the recreation part of it, you're going for a walk and you're going through the park. So I think that we should continue to promote our parks.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Mr. Reed, the same question. Lorain has over 50 parks and nowhere near the manpower and resources to maintain them all on a regular basis. Can you offer any ideas to lessen this burden on the Park and Recreation Department?
I do believe we could find ways to help the Parks and Rec Department We could look for funding and grants to help with these issues. We could also look to volunteer programs to help out and maybe solve some of the issues and help the Park and Recs Department to get the parks ready for the citizens.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Ms. Brinkowski, the same question.
Yes, I've strongly suggested divesting the city of some of the parkland in order to right-size our parkland. And in doing so, I've also asked that we bring the unions to the table so that we can get their input on utilizing some of the upkeep with community volunteers and with community service. There are a lot of people out there that are always looking for ways to do community service, be it kids in high school, Eagle Scouts, what have you. Granted, there has to be some oversight with supervision, and there would have to be waivers put in place. But we definitely need to divest ourselves of some of this land because we can't maintain it. And until we change our economic development strategy, we won't be able to maintain that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brinkowski. And Ms. Duval.
One of the things that we are taught very much in my culture is you never sell your land. You never sell your land. One of the things also, as I'm thinking about this question, is where does the city get resources? It gets it from the citizens. If we can connect our parks and integrate it into the cultural life of the people who live near it, we will be able to leverage that into support at the polls. The parks belong to you. And if you're invested in taking care of that, and you know that the way you do it is through voting for a park levy, then you're going to do it if you feel that that's a very valuable part of your life. And so what we need to do is foster support for the parks and make it a center of sociability for people, that they want to make them a part of their life.
Thank you, Mr. Val. Okay, your next question is based on no less than 11 calls we've received within the last month as we were planning this event. It is question number 9 on your sheets. Would you commit to giving citizens who air a concern at a city council meeting your full attention, whether you agree with them or not? How might you point this out to a fellow council member who is constantly otherwise occupied when citizens speak at a city council meeting? And we will begin with Mr. Flores.
That's a good question. I know, been going to the meetings lately, and I notice, the decorum of the council members, and there seems to be some disdain and animosity towards each other. And I think that's what's going to keep them from being focused on the issues and concerns of the city. They should focus more on the issues and concerns than to focus on each other and the actions that they're doing. They should pay full attention. I think you should listen to the council president when he tells you to turn that phone off and all vices off, and then you're there for a reason. You're not there to text or record. You're there, to do business, and so you should pay full attention.
Okay. I thank you both, but I'm going to follow up real quick so that the rest of you understand what it is we're looking for. First, Mr. Flores, would you commit to giving them your full attention? Is that a yes or a no?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Second, if you notice while you were in council and people are coming to the microphone and you notice that there's one or two of your fellow council people sitting right next to you or something, and they're either texting all the time, but they're not paying, or they kind of have their back toward that person speaking, how might you politely mention to that person that maybe they should listen to the citizens who elected them to office? That's the second part of the question, if you wouldn't mind answering that. Now everyone knows what we're looking for.
Sure. There's a meeting going on, so you should have the respect of letting the person speak without having to interrupt them. I know there's a lot of interruptions. It's very difficult. And, you know, the security issues that are being implemented, you know, they were not always there. So you had a lot of people outbursts and a lot of people coming in and saying things and screaming and yelling. But I think that the security that they provide, I mean, you should show respect. You come into a meeting, you don't want to disrespect somebody by speaking behind their back or speaking out of order.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Reed, same question?
Yes, I would commit to giving the citizens speaking my full attention. And if a council member is not giving them their full attention, I would, excuse me, I would politely say, you know, we are here to represent all the citizens in this city, and we need to hear what they have to say.
Mr. Reed, thank you. Ms. Springowski.
Yes, I take notes when the residents are speaking in order to effectively capture what they're saying, not only have my own record for recollection, but to follow through if necessary. The council president or pro tempore is responsible for facilitation of the meeting and should address the council members if necessary. I'm not on my phone. I will look something up for the packet. We don't get paper packets any longer. It's all on our computers, but I do pay very close attention and I do follow up with the appropriate departments to see full resolution of the residents' issues. Thank you.
Ms. Duval.
First, answer to the first question is yes. I think if you look at the tapes of the council meetings, you will see that I feel we need to turn around and look that person dead in the face and understand what their concern is. But again, I have to go back to my culture. There's a saying, you can't raise grown folks. Now, you elected that person. If you're not satisfied with their behavior, vote them out of office. If I turn around in the middle of a council meeting and say, Dennis, behave yourself, I'm disrupting the meeting, okay? That person, I assume they've been raised, they know respect, they know how to show respect, and if they're not showing it and you don't feel that they're representing you the way you want them to, you vote them out of office.
Thank you, Ms. Duval. Mr. Vallis, you will have the final word on this.
Okay, thank you. I would definitely 100% be committed to paying attention to the citizens who are speaking at our council meeting. It's respectful to pay attention, to learn what their issues are, and see if you can help them. That's what we're elected to do. We're elected to be the servant and representatives of the city of Lorain, and we need to figure out how we can help them. And that might be just referring them to a certain department head to get their answers. But if we're not paying attention, we can't help the citizens. And that's first and foremost why we're elected. We're elected to be the servants of the citizens of Lorain. I think that on city council, as one of my fellow colleagues here said, you can't disrupt the meeting and interrupt someone and say, hey, you need to pay attention. But if they were pretty egregious, I might submit a little piece of paper and hand it to them and say, pay attention. I mean, at least you're trying to kind of sort of right a wrong. But I think another thing that needs to be done is who's ever presiding over that meeting, whether it's the president or a committee chairman, they need to be on it. And if someone's misbehaving, it's the responsibility of the chairman of that meeting to make sure things are done in order. And if they're not done in order, they need to interject their voice and put things that are out of order in order. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fallis. And we'll now go to our final question, and Ms. Liebes will present that.
We'll start with Mr. Reed. We're going to do question number 5. What do you believe will be the greatest challenge for the city of Lorain during the next 2 years? How should this challenge be addressed?
I believe the greatest challenge over the next 2 years in Lorain will be creating a budget to avoid going into deficit. We need to work together as a council to solve this issue so we can get the city moving in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Ms. Brinkowski, the same question.
Well, clearly the budget, and this can only be addressed through increasing our revenue streams, and this must be done through meaningful economic development. I've long advocated for this, and we have become painfully aware over the past several months with the cuts to the numerous programs and grants that we can no longer rely on that, and so we have to find different avenues for it. I have asked that we have a hiring freeze and that we bring the unions to the table and the department heads so that they have an equal seat at the table to help us resolve our issues with the budget. And I was the only member of council to not vote to approve the budget because I did not receive those guarantees. We cannot tax or put fees on in our way to prosperity, and we cannot do it on the backs of the residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brinkowski. Ms. Duval, the same question.
I believe that one of the greatest challenges is going to be, again, maintaining our financial status of being able to pay for what we need. And one of the reasons why I ran for office is because I want to be part of a team, not individuals fighting for whatever they're fighting for, but a part of a team that will lead Lorain into a better future. And I believe that with the issue with the budget, all of us are dealing with a budget that we never thought we'd have to deal with. And so the city is no different. But if we have teamwork and we can look very carefully at the things that are necessary for the city and maybe those things which we can do without for a short while, that we won't wind up like our national government is now. Confusion, disillusionment, people losing jobs. We just need to sit down and study that budget, make sure that we're prepared. If we need to trim, let's do it in a manner that's not going to be absolutely shocking to everyone. So that's my main concern, that we maintain our fiscal status.
Thank you, Ms. Duval. Mr. Fallis, same question.
Yes, thank you. The greatest issue facing the city of Lorain is, in fact, the budget, and the budget's out of balance by about $4.5 million. And I'd like to tell you a little story. When I first got on city council, my first meeting, I had to approve a 3-year union contract for police officers. And nobody could provide me with a 3-year forecast to determine whether we had the money or not to pay for those police officers. And you know what? It's a sad thing to say, but we're in that same position today. So what the city needs to do, we need to change the process in how we do the budget. And my fellow colleagues here had some great ideas. We need to start now developing a budget process to get everybody around the table to figure out what we're going to do for the next 5 years. Not in next year, but we need to start it now. We need to get the auditor, the mayor, city council, all the department heads, the union folks, sit around, identify what's the financial gap, and then how are we gonna solve that financial gap? There's 2 ways to do that. You raise revenue, and or you minimize your tax your expenses. And so it's a major problem, and we need to fix it, or the citizens of Lorain are going to suffer because we're not going to have enough people to provide the services that we currently have today. And I'm not doom and gloomer, but I'm a very good financial forecaster, and I did a 5-year forecast a couple of years ago, and that's telling us we're running out of money in 2027. So we need to get on it. We need to get on it now and make it happen. And so we need to change our process. And I would be happy to be a part of that team who looks forward to figuring out how to balance our budget. It's going to take a team. It's going to take a lot of people and a lot of creative ways to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fallis. And Mr. Flores, same question.
I think it's important that we continue with the economic development, especially with the downtown revitalization. We need to, how do you generate revenue? You have to spur job growth, and so we have to continue to look for companies that can give us those jobs, that can generate the revenue. We're going to have to fill the void. What do you do when you run out of money? It's kind of something that you have to figure out. So I think by continuing to work on things that would promote our city and to bring job growth in and to generate revenue. So those are the important things that I think that I'd like to work on if I get back on council. Those are things that I'd like to work on.
All right, thank you, Mr. Flores. So now we'll move into the 1-minute closing statement. Ms. Springowski, we'll start with you.
Nuevamente, gracias a Chip por organizar este evento y por darnos la bienvenidos aquí esta noche. Again, thank you to Chip for organizing this event and having us here this evening. My name is Mary Springowski, and I ask you for your vote, either now during early voting or on May 6th. I need your vote and your support to keep effective, proven leadership and representation on City Council. Again, I represent the people, not the party nor the administration, the people. So I ask you for your support. I ask you for your vote. I'm also the only candidate running for council at large that has proven large-scale economic development experience and success. I have worked with Team NEO, I have worked with Jobs Ohio, and I have worked with Lorain County Community College to this end. I don't wait around for them to call us. I reach out to them. I believe in being proactive, and I do this every day as your council at large. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Duvall, your 1-minute closing statement.
Thank you. What I bring to council is a leadership skill. I bring critical thinking skills. I bring ability to work with everyone. And I think that that is something that's very much needed here in Lorain, the ability to look past your own personal biases or beliefs and at least listen to the other person, because you can glean something from them. And so I think that I am a person that would be a great team member. I know how to plan, I know how to execute, and I know when my idea is not the only idea on the block. I can accept other people's ideas and work with them. It doesn't have to be me. It has to be something that's good for the city of Lorain and will move us forward. When I ran, I said I wanted to be a dedicated public servant, and I think that's what I have been. I ask you to vote for me in this election.
Thank you, Ms. Duvall. Mr. Fallis?
Thank you. The 4 pillars for a brighter Lorain center on safety first, a balanced budget, jobs, 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 and upgrade infrastructure. Lorain has some tremendous assets. We have undeveloped land along the waterfront, the riverfront, and remediated brownfield sites that we need to use to attract emerging industries, such as advanced manufacturing, IT, AI, and tourism. I think the key thing for moving our city forward is that we need to have someone full-time that can be our economic development specialist, that would go out and interact with these emerging industries and get to know these people, invite them to our city and show them what our assets are. I think that's a key component that we have not had for a long, long time in our city, and that needs something to be discussed when we're looking at our budget for the next 5 years. I'd just like to share with you, as my tenure as a CFO at Vacation Land Federal Credit Union, I've sat around a table with 6 people, and we struggle with issues. But when you have conversations, you keep having conversations, you keep having honest conversations, ultimately the right solution comes to the forefront. And so I think we need to develop a little bit better process in Lorain City government to move our city forward. Thank you. My name is Mitchell Faust, and I would be honored to serve you on City Council for the next couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Flores, your 1 minute.
I'm dennisforlorain@gmail.com. I'm experienced and knowledgeable. I've been dedicated, and I'm rooted in Lorain. I've been on the front of a lot of controversial issues because I'm dedicated, and I love our city. So when something's not right, something's off, I want to make it right. So we're right, we need to have these discussions. And so in that respect, I ask for your support. Tuesday, May the 6th, vote for Dennis for Lorain.
Thank you. And Mr. Reed, your 1 minute.
Again, I want to thank Chip for having us all here this evening. I am Jacob Reed, and when I'm elected to Lorain City Council at large on May 6th, I will work hard every day for the citizens of Lorain, and I will make myself available when they need me. And remember to vote for Jacob Reed for City Council at large. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Now, that does conclude the last race, Lorain City Council at Large. We want to thank all of the candidates that are on this race, as well as everyone that has joined us tonight. We want to welcome our president of CHIP, Juanita Senquez, for our final statements.
Testing. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Again, good luck to all the candidates. Don't forget to vote on May 6th. I also would like to thank Carmen Levis, Mike Fidel, Alicia Pardon, the moderators. And we have the two timekeeper, my husband Pablo, and of course my handsome grandson, Nathan Pardon. I think he's getting a little tired now. I also would like to thank Lorain City School and Dr. Jeff Graham, our superintendent, Mike Pichata, TV 20. If you want to see this, it is on YouTube. You can go back and see it. The ACES Project volunteers. And everyone have a safe trip home. And don't forget, May 6th, your voice is your vote.